Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics vs. Non-Classics, episode 584 and Doubleshot 476, okay? Two DC trades. First up, it is Showcase presents Martian Manhunter Volume 1. Yeah, this book collects... You're not going to believe what this book collects. It's a lot of issues. Okay. This book collects a story from Batman number 78 and Detective Comics 225 to 304. Yeah, this collects most. Now the Martian the Batman story, it's just sort of a early something that okay, we have an alien comes to Earth. My guess is this story proved to be successful, so they decided to give Martian. They created Martian 2 years later. Now, the thing with this book is, this collects most of his Detective Comics run. Yeah, I'm not kidding about this. This collects all but the last 22 issues. Yeah, almost like 100 issues. Like, these are short stories. You know how long these stories are? These stories are 6 pages long. It's not until like issue 300 that the stories get longer. It's like 6, 7 pages tops. And then by 300, it gets much more longer. Like issue 300 is like 7 pages, but I think it's not until after we start with chapter 302 that the thing moves to 12 pages. Now there is a reason for that. You see, at the time when Martian Manhunter was actually in the book, he was sharing Detective Comics with 2 other features. One, of course, is Batman, who is still to this very day. The other, of course, is a guy named Roy Raymond. He's a TV detective who had been in the books issue 153. He actually left with issue 293. For the last, for 7 issues, he basically co-shared a feature now with Batman, but also Aquaman briefly. And after Aquaman left, the thing was shortened down to just 2 features. Martian Manhunter was in there until 326, and he was replaced with Elongated Man for about 50 issues. And then, of course, the book got handed off to people like Batgirl and Robin. The stories in here are just pure classic stuff. And the people who created him are... And these are 2 people who actually did this story. Did the original story when it comes to Martian Manhunter. Now, the opening story... If you ever see the film... what was the name of that film? It was... Oh yeah, DC New Frontier. They actually referenced this particular story in the film. Yeah, New Frontier was a miniseries done by the late Darwin Cook. Awesome artist. I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really good miniseries, and the movie's fantastic as well. See, the story itself was written by Joe Shimoshkin, even though that the other story is written by Jack Miller, and all artwork is now by Joe Kurta. But I think Joe Shimoshkin basically is probably listed as one of the several creators of Martian Manhunter. Yeah. Now, he does have one villain who pops up in here who actually returned for Final Crisis, the Human Flame. If you're wondering what he looked like back in the 50s, okay, let me look him up for you. If you're curious. Let's see if I can find that, because... Because prior to this book, I had never read the debut of this particular character. But I did read in Final Crisis. That I did. Where are you, Human Flame? Let's see here. Wait, I think I might know what story he is. I have Wikipedia up here. Okay, it was 274. Yeah, that was his debut appearance, which is also the... Let's see, that was actually issue before a supporting character came back. Yeah, let's see, 74. Here we go. 312. Okay. Let's see what the guy looks like. And when I saw this, I'm like, okay. Yeah, the guy's appearance has not really changed all this much. Here he is, the Human Flame. Oop. Forgot I didn't have my thing up. Here we go. Yeah. Here he is, the Human Flame. That is him. Now, looking at this image and see what he looked like in Final Crisis, yeah, he didn't change very much in 46 years. I'm not kidding about that. Actually, it's 48 years. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing about this particular character. After this, didn't return again to Final Crisis any period of the miniseries. Final Crisis Run. I read it. It's okay. It's not as good as some of the other ones, but it's more weaker. It's more the weakest series, but it's okay. But the stories in here are just pure classic stuff. It starts off originally with Martian Manhunter becoming a detective named John Jones, and he pretty much is this particular. He uses alias up until issue 326, where he has the character die, though he does come back in the 80s. Yeah. But all the stories in here are just pure classic stories. Just too bad I never get a chance to meet the creators of Martian Manhunter because I'm sure that they are dead. Yeah. Yep. I'm sure that they're dead. Yeah, it's Joe Smeshin and Joe Corda. Yeah, the guy passed away almost 40 years ago. Yeah, so there's no way to meet the creators of Martian Manhunter, but if I ever did, I'm going to tell him that he is an awesome character, and he's still around to this very day. He's still very popular, despite the fact the guy did have a brief disappearance for 10 years because DC wanted to write him off. And here's also kind of the weird thing about Martian Manhunter. It took until like the late 90s for him to get an ongoing series. Though it didn't last very long. It only lasted for like 30 issues, and then the book got axed. Now, I have heard the reason why for this, because John Ostrander, the writer, heard a rumor during Our Worlds at War that DC was planning on killing off the Martian Man. That's the reason why that they decided to end the series at that point. After that, he didn't have an ongoing series again until the DCU stuff in 2015, which lasted for 12 issues and the book got axed. Yep. Now, the guy is still around. I'm glad the fact that a lot of writers love using this guy. As a matter of fact, he's gonna be in Scott Snyder's Justice League book. Yeah, he's part of that lineup, which I think is great. Though he doesn't use this particular attire. Yeah, this look he had from this point forward up until 2011. Yeah, his look. He did change his look briefly. I think it was in 2006, but he mostly stuck to this particular look. That's one thing I praise about this particular guy, is that he actually stuck to his look. The cover is done by the late Joe Corda, but the front cover is colored by Alex Sinclair. I don't know if he's still around on that, but classic stuff. I give this book a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. Now, unlike other Silver Age stuff, there's nothing really goofy about this one, unlike some other Silver Age stuff. This one's a little more serious. It's just basically Martian Manhunter fighting, well, criminals a lot of the time, though he later on fights aliens. Though he had this weird thing of where a lot of the time criminals couldn't see him because he was invisible. It took like halfway through the book where it finally become visible so people can see him. And people did accept him. Alright, next up is Batman, Gordon of Gotham. And this book collects the Gordon Gotham miniseries, which is 4 issues. Also 4-issue miniseries. Batman JCPD and Batman Gordon's Law. Written by Chuck Dixon, who does 2 of the miniseries. He does Gordon's Law and GCPD. Denny O'Neil does Gordon of Gotham. Klaus Jensen does the artwork for Gordon's Law and Gordon of Gotham. GCPD is done by the late Jim Aparo. Now, here's the weird thing about this particular trade. Despite that called Gordon of Gotham, the first miniseries you see in here is Gordon's Law, where he tracks down a counterfeiter, and apparently he's connected to a crooked cop. Cop is crooked in the police department. And Batman. Now, if you read these miniseries, you could definitely say that DC did have plausible, let's say, credibility to do a series focused on the GCPD thanks to these miniseries. You gotta say these three miniseries did plant the seeds for it. Now, when were these miniseries released? These were released. Okay, here we go. In the years 1996, 1997, and 1998. The first miniseries was released in 1996, well, from December to, let's say, March of 1997. Yeah, then, of course, you have GCPD come next, and then, of course, Gordon's Law. Yeah, all three of these miniseries are focused on Jim Gordon himself, which is great. And this, by far, is just a fantastic thing to read. If you're a fan of any of the writers or a fan of Batman, you would definitely enjoy this. It's just a really great series. Also, Bill Sienkiewicz and Dick Giordano help with the artwork as well, which is great. And also, Harry Bullock and Renee Montoya pop up in here as well in a couple of these miniseries. Yeah, these are detective stories with Jim Gordon as the main character, which is amazing. I don't want to spoil too much else of these particular stories. It's just really good. Let's see. Gordon of Gotham, and just basically his past when he was with the Chicago PD, because he originally is from Chicago. Yeah, that was revealed in Batman Year 1. In the case GCPD, it's just a series that focuses on despite that Gordon is in the series, it's more of a series focused on Harry Bullock and Renee Montoya's partnership, though they briefly decide to split and to get new partners, though she ends up being taken captive and Harry Bullock frees her. Oh, and also, Batman plays little or no role in these particular miniseries. He does show up for Gordon of Gotham, but he serves as the president, so he doesn't interact with the past stuff at all because, well, it's Chicago. In the case of Gordon's Law, he just, told to stay out of it because he didn't want Batman to interfere. He went alone, and Batman was actually very impressed that Gordon was able to handle the situation with having a miniseries on his own. Now, when I go the chance to go to Comic-Con, I'm going to get Chuck Dixon to sign this because Chuck Dixon wrote it, and I really want to get Chuck Dixon to sign something besides, another issue of Bane Conquest, because I had really nothing much else for him to sign. So now, I have something else for him to sign. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be the first of 3 episodes to have Star Wars trades. Yeah, and you'll find out which ones they are in the next episode, okay? Excuse me, but until I see you there, bye.